good, gang? It's your boy, Once a Little Bands, back another reaction. And today, we got the life and death of Drakeo the Ruler. Now, this is part 3. I know y'all been waiting for me to drop this part 3 to the documentary, you know what I'm saying? So here we are. I know y'all been waiting patiently. I appreciate y'all for waiting patiently. You know what I'm saying? This one, we left off on Drakeo's M trial, so we gonna check out the full trial. That alone is 15 minutes. Then we gonna check out the holding of Drakeo the Ruler. I guess, you know what I'm saying, after he might have beat the case or whatever. I'm just gonna assume that, because that's usually what's going on if they holding somebody. They on the brink of beating the case, but then they just hold them, try to come up with any way they can to keep them in jail. They doing the exact same thing with K-Flock. K-Flock pretty much beat the case, but they added another M case just to keep him in there. You know what I'm saying? This man can't even get out on bail. But this ain't about K-Flock. I just said that to let y'all get an example. Then we also gonna check out this last one right here. Drakeo's Ops Rise to Power. And then we gonna end it right there. And then the next video will start at the return of Drakeo. Anyways, let's just get into it. I ain't gonna waste no more time. If y'all enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below y'all thoughts. Comment on that reaction next. I get to it ASAP. And yeah, I'll be doing the videos every day. Call the bands, share it to it. Alright.
Drakeo explained to DJ Vlad that he was charged.
Oh yeah, y'all told me in the comments too. I hate to pause it already. I know I'm already pausing it. I know some of y'all genuinely hate it. But you know what? If you don't like it, I'm just letting y'all know up front. We pause over here. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't aware by now, you might want to watch somebody else, because we gonna pause a lot. I'm just saying. But I seen somebody in the comments, y'all funny, bro. Y'all say every time I see this UK dude, it makes me mad. It pisses me off. Y'all funny for that. Every time I see this dude, it's funny because it's like, it's him talking about this dude. Like, this man looks like he probably, like, this is why it's important not to judge a book by its cover, y'all. I'm just saying. Because he look like he probably the type of person to subscribe to another person's OnlyFans, watching it on his computer on Discord while having e-sex. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of vibe I'm getting just from how he look. This is why you can't judge a book by its cover. I'm just being 100. Anyways, let's get back into it.
Drakeo explained to DJ Vlad that he was charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder in March 2018.
First-degree murder, conspiracy, 5 attempted murders.
5 attempted murders.
And 2 gun charges.
It would later emerge that in addition to these charges, Drakeo was also being accused of shooting from a motor vehicle, illegal possession of a firearm, and criminal gang conspiracy. It's hard enough fighting a murder charge in 5 attempts, but the use of a gang enhancement, a law that's used to impose harsher punishments on those who commit crimes in furtherance of a gang, would see much more serious punishment for the crimes committed if found guilty. In the case of homicide, this meant that Drakeo was facing, at worst, the death penalty or life in prison. Drakeo was quite literally fighting for his life as a result of his supposed gang affiliations. But let's not forget,
This man could not escape it, bro. It's crazy, bro. This man could not escape the possibility of death. That's what happens when you in this life, bro. It's sad, but true. It's what happened, bro.
Doesn't claim to belong to a particular gang set. So in this case, the cops positioned the Stink Team as its own LA street gang, with Drakeo being the leader. Pointing to the Stink Team, aka the Too Greedy family, as a squad of home invaders made up of members of rolling Crip gangs. Prosecutors said that the Stink Team was a gang with around 20 to 30 members, even pointing out that the Asian-inspired logos that they use are a reference to robbing the homes of Asian people, and a common identifier of the Stink Team as a street gang.
They so dead wrong for this though. Why target them? I get some of them are ops, but like, you just robbing. At this point, it sounds like you just robbing some random Asians, bro. That's messed up, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Drakeo would later tell DJ Vlad that he felt that the cops were simply trying to make him guilty by association for wild things that his gang-affiliated friends were doing completely separate to him.
We're gonna put these people and make it seem like, well, he's hanging around with him, this is his close friend, they're going around starting problems, shooting at people, whatever they alleging lies that they saying happened. And basically that's how they tried to get the gang charged with the indictment. Well, they indicted us on that charge anyway, so I didn't get that until after the indictment.
Despite the cops' fairly misinformed opinions on Drakeo's gang membership, the case was even more flimsy under the surface. Because one of the most absurd pieces of evidence supposedly proving Drakeo's gang membership was his rivalry with RJ, with court papers citing RJ's affiliation with the Athens Park Bloods and RJ's ongoing competitive rap rivalry with Draco as evidence of an ongoing all-out gang war between the two groups, with Draco telling Vlad that the cops were trying to use the RJ beef to pin gang affiliations on him.
They didn't have nothing, so I guess they found out about me and RJ getting into it, so they try to pin this together my rap beef or whatever, a gang murder or whatever they alleging that happened.
The prosecution's entire argument against Draco specifically was built on a foundation of sand. Their entire case against Draco came from AB telling that prison informant that when they went to that party that night they were looking for RJ, which in the opinion of detectives and prosecutors meant that Draco had directed his entire gang to go to that party that night to kill RJ as part of a gang feud, going as far as to claim that Draco's lyrics on his Flex freestyle, where he says that he had RJ in the trunk, was an admission of his desire to kill.
That's why you gotta be careful what you say right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this man most likely was just talking crazy, you know what I'm saying? He was probably just, you know what I mean? You know how some rappers be. They just be exaggerating stuff sometimes. He was probably just exaggerating stuff when he said that. But this is why you gotta be careful what you say. You know what I'm saying? Because they will try to flip it on you. I understand in his case, they couldn't do it. But they technically did for a second before it was proven false. But they technically tried to. So, that's why you gotta be careful what you say, bro. Genuinely.
His rivals, even though that song was released after the murder of Red Bull. And even though RJ was an Athens Park Blood, a different gang to the Inglewood family Bloods, which the murdered man Red Bull had belonged to. The prosecutor's case against Draco was very flimsy indeed. And to make matters worse for prosecutors, not only was RJ completely unharmed as part of this beef, but there was no evidence to indicate that RJ had ever intended to be at that party where Red Bull ultimately lost his life. Now, RJ would tell Adam22 on No Jumper that he was aware that the cops had told him that Draco was trying to line him up, but he outright denied ever having plans to be at the party where Red Bull was killed.
I wasn't supposed to be at that show. I wasn't supposed to be at that show, and nobody...
The show that they're saying that he was sending someone to kill you at or whatever, yeah.
I think I got a lot of love out here, you know what I'm saying, even from my enemies, so I don't think nobody was trying to kill me.
RJ would also go on social media to...
No, trust me. Trust me, that is not it. That is not it, boy. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people get a lot of love from their own hometown. Look at X, for example. He got a lot of love from his hometown. But what happened, though? He passed away in his own hometown. The list goes on, bro. The list goes on. I'm just saying, what's the other dude name? Young Dolph. This man got a lot of love in Memphis, bro. A lot of love. A lot of respect in Memphis. But what happened? He got killed in his own hometown. You can't say that, bro. You can't say that. PNB Rock, I think he got killed in his own hometown, too. I don't know. I could be wrong about that one. But the other two, I know that's facts. I know that's, legit facts. They got killed in their own hometown. Crazy, bro.
Denying that he ever planned to...
I don't believe that's true. Just because you get a lot of love in your hometown don't mean that there's not a lot of people that want to see you dead. I mean, sad, but... It's honestly the truth.
Attend that pajama party where Red Bull died, saying that he had a show elsewhere that night.
I've never been a runner, nor a no-show. Everybody know that ain't never been booked for no damn pajama jam. For one, I had a show somewhere else. Why you didn't cut?
Show me the flyer!
RJ would even go on to say that he was actually a fan of Draco, suggesting that their ongoing feud had just been a rap rivalry and by no means a genuine gang war.
I love Draco.
I believe that's cap. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what people don't even realize.
And
people be talking all this beef shit. Bro, it's no beef with me and Draco, bro.
So, with all of that in mind, much to the bafflement of journalists covering Draco's case...
This gotta be cap, though, right? This gotta be cap. Because... Red Bull was a part of RJ and them side, right? So this gotta be cap.
case, prosecutors were still going ahead with the case against Drakeo, specifically going with the narrative that they believed Drakeo had gone to the party that night to kill RJ, arguing that because Drakeo had led the Stinks on a ride, intending to kill RJ, that he should still be held responsible when another unrelated gang member ends up getting murdered by one of his friends for reasons that have nothing to do with him. With Drakeo later trying to unpack the ridiculousness of this line of thinking in a DJ Vlad interview.
I grabbed 12 people to go to a party with me where he's not on a flyer, where in my expensive Mercedes-Benz, along with 5 other cohorts, to drive to a party to go kill a rapper who wasn't on a flyer, waited there, waited for him to show up, a blood walked by, whatever, somebody else starts shooting randomly. And that I'm responsible for it basically because I start beefs with people and pass out guns and I don't know, I'm John.
And reminder. Just to remember, because I feel like we all forgetting this now. RJ is the one that started this beef to begin with. I'm just saying, remember, this is all over some petty beef. Just because they was mad because Drakeo didn't want to sign the Mustard's label. This all started from that little beef. So it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. I don't know. Like it don't make sense why Drakeo would have wanted to do that anyways. You know what I mean? It just don't. But I don't know.
Gotti, I guess.
Whilst awaiting trial, Drakeo was interviewed from jail by Jeff Weiss, the same journalist who wrote that LA Times piece on him days before his arrest. And during the interview, Drakeo claimed that it was 2 specific Monterey Park sheriff detectives named Hardiman and Biddle who were targeting him so specifically, saying that it was these 2 detectives that were bringing an 18-month-old cold case against Drakeo just because of how famous he was getting, with Drakeo questioning the suspicious timing of him being arrested just days after that LA Times article about him was released, though to be fair, Drakeo did at least admit that these detectives' obsession with him might have something to do with the fact that he'd been taunting them publicly. Drakeo said that these detectives had even gone as far as to get his mother.
That's why you gotta be careful what you say. The feds be watching every move. Y'all already know the song. The feds watching, bro.
Fired from her job, threatening her with conspiracy charges and ultimately leading to her losing her apartment, with Drakeo ending that interview saying definitively he didn't do it. Drakeo would sit in jail for the majority of 2018, with his September 2018 music video for the song Roll Bounce being one of the only things he released during this period. Drakeo would be interviewed again by Dazed in November 2018, telling the world that he was facing life in prison or even the death penalty. He denied having a street beef with RJ once again, saying things were just music between them. He claimed to have never known Red Bull, the man who was killed, ultimately saying that he believed that the police were just using his YouTube and Instagram content against him, seemingly getting no option of bail during his stay in prison, and saying he's just sat in jail making streaming money, so I guess things could be worse. Drakeo was being held at Men's Central Jail in Los Angeles during this period. It's not one of the best places you would want to find yourself, but the sad truth is, things could actually get much worse for Drakeo, because during his stay in jail the second time, Drakeo claimed to have been subjected to dozens of months of solitary confinement. Because in January 2019, he claimed on Twitter to be quitting music and taking all of his tracks down, blaming Detective Hardiman for the end of his career for trying to use his lyrics against him.
Thank Detective Hardiman for this. I'm no longer a rapper. Dang. That's how it be though, you know what I'm saying? You lose a lot of motivation when you have stuff like this happening. So I get it, you know what I mean? I don't blame him for wanting to quit, actually.
But perhaps Drakeo underestimated just how grimy this detective really was, as a result of being publicly shamed for ruining Drakeo's career, because that tweet would end up getting used against him too, as the detectives and prosecutors would make moves to have Drakeo's public statements about them on Twitter as grounds for further punishment, with Drakeo later telling DJ Vlad that he was subjected to months.
Nah, this is petty. I ain't gonna lie, that's petty. Now that's petty right there. Now what he said that was so bad that need to get him used again, like what he said that was so bad that need to be used against him right there. I don't understand.
Of solitary confinement, not for violent behaviour, but because of his followers on social media hating on the detective that had built the case against him.
I had put up a post. I wanted to take my music down and shit because they were using it against me. They had like 4,000 comments and shit like that. And he went to a judge and got an order basically saying that, and my comments was basically saying, F him, his mom calling him saying that they want to kill him and all type of weird shit because of my influence and my followers and all this other stuff that he feels that these threats can be carried out and all this like weird shit. So they took my privileges.
Draco's lawyer would come out
That is
later to
crazy,
say that his
bro.
public statements on Twitter, specifically this tweet, is what wound him up in the solitary confinement cell. More specifically, the exact cell that Suge Knight ended up in.
You know, Draco was in,
this don't make sense,
general
bro. I ain't gonna
population.
lie.
I think he was okay. And then he tweeted this, and the detective went to a different judge, not even our judge, and got him placed in solitary confinement in Suge Knight's old cell. And so he's locked down 24 hours a day, except for a couple of breaks where he gets to go out, like he's, the leader of the Mexican mafia, some large, powerful prison gang, for tweeting, I'm taking my music down and
That's just
thank
petty,
Hardeman.
bro. That's just
And
petty.
he's remained in there
Bro,
for
what?
8, almost 9 months now.
Draco would later tell Andrew Callahan in a podcast that it was around the 10-month mark that his mental health started slipping and he begun having hallucinations in his cell alone.
Yeah, it seems like all that time in solitary would probably make you go crazy.
Yeah.
Do you start hallucinating or having like?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just seeing shit that is not there. I don't know, like shadows, shit like that. Everything was cool to like my 10th month. Like 10th month, and then I don't know, shit started going left. But yeah, the room started getting smaller. Like shit started, like, it's crazy.
So you felt the walls start to close in?
Yeah, pretty much. I never knew what that
That's scary,
saying meant. I know now though.
The cops and prosecutors put Draco through hell whilst awaiting trial. They used every dirty trick they could to keep him down, but eventually he would have his day in court. Ultimately, Draco would emerge from his case victorious. But once again, even with the law seemingly on his side, the powers that be still wanted to play dirty and take Draco down. Draco had been in jail for well over a year by the time he was finally able to go for trial. It was clear what the prosecutor's strategy was: try and draw flimsy conclusions from Draco's public persona as a gangster in his music to paint him as the real leader of a bloodthirsty street gang. But when the facts of the trial came to light, it was clear what had really happened. Draco was rolling with friends of various gang affiliations, and just so happened to be there when 2 of his gang-affiliated friends saw one of their enemies and started shooting. But the cops would throw everything they had at Draco to try and paint him and the stink team as guilty of gang activity. Apparently when it came to trial, prosecutors even called a store clerk from Neiman Marcus to testify against the stink team for regularly spending stolen money in their store and rapping about it. A troll-level reference to Draco's earlier lyrics about his ops being so broke that the Neiman Marcus employees don't know who they are. The prosecutors even went further,
Now, what song is it? Yo.
spectacularly bringing out several Asian men and women, accompanied by foreign language interpreters, asking them one by one if they have ever been to Neiman Marcus in Beverly Hills, with each telling the courts no, they did not authorize the stink team to spend thousands of their stolen dollars on high-end clothing. The cops were really doing everything they could to try and make this case stick to the stink team. And despite the fact that both of the killers in this case, Kells and AB, as well as stink team member 2 Shitty, had all made incriminating statements to undercover informants in jail, a great deal of additional testimony at the trial would come from former stink team member turned snitch.
I'm sorry, wait, hold on, hold on, huh?
A great deal of additional testimony at the trial would come from former stink team member turned snitch, Solo, real name Davian Irving.
So we got 2 rats on our hands. 2 snitchy? I'm only saying that not because, I'm it's no hate, no bad blood. I don't even know who he is. I only said that because his real name I personally just can't say it. But 2 snitchy is, I don't even know which. Solo, they both were rats. They both rats. That's crazy.
Who would become state witness and testify against the stink team after being the only person positively identified by the police as being at the crime scene. Solo was offered full immunity in exchange for any info about the case, with him going full 6'9", taking the stand and telling the entire
He said going full 6'9". He said he went word for word, bar for bar, flow for flow. Everything. He plagiarized that whole thing. That's crazy, boy.
story of what
the whole story is
about
crazy.
the case, with him going
You couldn't leave no details out, huh?
full 6'9", taking the stand and telling the entire story of what happened that night when the stink team ran into Red Bull. Solo broke down the details of that night minute by minute, telling the court that they were at Draco's house before the party, but also saying specifically that Draco had no idea that the shooting was going to occur. Solo was the perfect witness to convict the real killers, Kells and AB, but the cops wanted Draco, and the truth didn't fit in with their narrative. So they would continue to bring up the beef between Draco and RJ, and make immense effort to connect the murder of Red Bull to Draco's music. And to be fair, they would have a few good good leads, because once investigators had determined the guns from the shooting, from both the bullets left at the scene and AB's confession that a 38 and a 40 were used, the cops would eventually find the 40 Glock that they believed had been used in the murder, and in an effort to connect the Stink team's alleged crimes to their music, detectives would take a closer look at Drakeo's recent music videos. That's when they found the video to that track Chunky Monkey from a month before the murder, where Drakeo, Kells, and Ralphie danced around in gorilla masks and toted guns. The Chunky Monkey music video featured a lot of extreme close-ups of guns. In fact, this music video was so well shot that several of the guns appear on screen with their serial numbers on display in glory.
Oh my gosh. This is not even 4K, bro. This is the high. No, what's higher than 4K? Ain't nothing higher than that, really. Ain't nothing higher than 4K. But somehow they exceeded that with this. Like, it's so freaking clear. Like, what the heck?
4K. It was later alleged that a gun featured in the video with its serial number on display was the exact same pistol that had fired the .40 caliber cartridge that was found at the scene. Though to be fair, it was claimed that other people had possessed that gun between the Chunky Monkey music video shoot and the actual murder of Red Bull. Also featured heavily in the Chunky Monkey music video was Drakeo's signature Mercedes SUV that was also seen at the scene of the Red Bull murder. At the time, people were commenting all over that video that everybody included in it is now facing 25 to life. But of course, all of that incrimination was really bad news for Kells and AB, the young shooters who had actually done the crime, with the prosecution's case against Kells looking particularly strong. Not only had he been duly snitched on by himself and his friends to those undercover informants, but the cops also had evidence that following the murder, Kells had posted clips on social media saying that he was sipping on Dead Bull, as well as another clip that was posted on his own Facebook that had a bunch of people in the comments talking very reckless about what had happened to Red Bull. It was clear that Kells and AB were very deeply tied into LA's Crip gang politics. Combine that with the fact that Red Bull was a seemingly beloved Inglewood blood with a deep reputation in the streets, it's not unsurprising then that during the trial against Kells, it was reported that the court was lined with both Bloods and Crips in attendance to show support and pressure respectively, with the heavy Blood and Crip presence on both sides apparently leading to a courthouse brawl where somebody was stabbed during the trial. Things were getting real in the Compton courthouse, but ultimately that wouldn't matter. Drakeo's co-defendant Kells, real name Michael Buchanan, was ultimately convicted of murder and multiple accounts of attempted murder with the gang enhancement, avoiding the death penalty but receiving a full life sentence, with the other shooter—
I'm not even shocked he got the wait, he said life sentence, right?
Real name Michael Buchanan, was ultimately convicted of murder and multiple accounts of attempted murder with the gang enhancement, avoiding was ultimately courthouse, but receiving a full life sentence.
So we really got the life sentence, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna act like he don't deserve a life sentence. But like, it's crazy though. Like, it's actually genuinely crazy because like, he probably wouldn't have got the life sentence if they didn't snitch on him like that. Low key. That's crazy.
With the other shooter, AB, being under 18 at the time of his trial, and at this point it's unclear whether or not he faced trial privately as a juvenile, with the results not being made public, or perhaps due to delays in the legal system, maybe he's not even gone to trial at all yet. But with all of the evidence against him, you can safely assume he probably got a similar outcome to Kells. Meanwhile, Ralphie the Plug was convicted of second-degree burglary and possession of an assault rifle with a gang enhancement. But of course, the most eagerly anticipated outcome of the whole trial was for Drakeo himself. His trial would last a whopping 8.5 weeks, during which apparently 2 black jurors were removed from the case after expressing concern that the gang evidence used against Drakeo was not accurate. But no matter—
Wow. Wow, so they want to remove all the people that said that it's not accurate. They doing everything in their power to lock this man up. That's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, the system do not rock with us. They want to see us down. Like, I'm not going to act like they deserve— I ain't going to act like they asked for some of that. But I'm just saying, like, they really want us to be in the jail system as much as possible. That's what it really feel like. I ain't gonna lie.
How many dirty tricks the prosecutors tried to pull against Drakeo, in the end he was victorious. So on July the 25th, 2019, at a Compton courthouse, Drakeo the Ruler would finally be acquitted of murder and attempted murder. He would tweet in celebration, "For everyone that thought I was gonna lose, I won, bitch." But sadly, things were far from over for Drakeo, because despite beating the most serious charges of the case, he was still convicted of felony gun possession by a felon. Meanwhile, 2 other counts of criminal gang conspiracy and shooting from a motor vehicle returned a hung jury. jury. So, even after beating the trial of his life, getting acquitted of murder, and narrowly avoiding the death penalty, Draco's life would still be in the hands of prosecutors, who now, embarrassed after being duly battered at trial by Draco the Ruler, would now be desperate for a dirty trick that they could use to try and keep Draco in jail for as long as possible, with no justification.
They want to see him lose. They want to see him lose so bad. It's crazy, bro.
In the end, the district attorney decided to refile charges of criminal gang conspiracy and shooting from a motor vehicle.
He said recharge.
District attorney decided to refile charges of criminal gang conspiracy and shooting from a motor vehicle against Draco, as these counts had originally returned a hung jury. Shooting from a motor vehicle is a crime that could see Draco facing 3 to 7 years in jail, but with the gang enhancement, that criminal gang conspiracy charge, Draco was once again facing life in prison, even though he'd been fully acquitted on those original murder and attempted murder charges. This was a dirty move by prosecutors, who were essentially holding Draco in custody for a crime he had already been acquitted of. If the jury had already found him innocent of murder and attempted murder, it was quite the stretch to suggest that he had still shot from a car and been involved in the conspiracy, but clearly the prosecutors had a grudge against Draco after losing in court over the main charges. And of course, if keeping Draco in prison after he
They really trying to get this man life. That's crazy.
was acquitted wasn't enough. Prosecutors also made sure that during this time, Draco was still held in solitary confinement. But somehow this didn't stop Draco from still managing to get access to a phone and tweeting about his case, with Draco taken to the net in September 2019, telling the world that he was essentially being charged for the same crime that he got acquitted for a few months previous, saying enough is enough, and acknowledging he knows detectives are just trying to get justice for the victim's family, but surely his acquittal and Kels's conviction would mean something to prosecutors. It didn't. And the cops would do everything they could to keep Draco in jail after his acquittal, with Draco's lawyer later telling No Jumper in an interview that he believed that the cops and prosecutors were seeing Draco as a trophy.
It's a trophy. He's a trophy, you know, a big fish for them to try to take down.
Because you know they're humiliated because they didn't get him the first time around. So they're like, oh, let's double down. Let's really go for this again.
Draco's new trial was set for August in 2020, meaning that he would have been in jail for over a year following his acquittal for murder. It's truly crazy when...
Dang. So when did Draco pass away? Because like, it's getting closer and closer to it's getting closer and closer to by the time he died, like, or passed away. It's 2020. He died in 2021. It said December 19, 2021. So this man barely been out of jail and he already like got. That's crazy, bro.
When you think about it. But fortunately in the end, after so much bad luck and an additional year sat in jail unjustly, Draco would finally catch a break, as the LA County District Attorney who had had a vendetta against Draco, Jackie Lacey, would end up losing her job, partly the result of a terrible track record.
Dang, she lost her job? That's crazy.
Refusing to
I ain't gonna lie, they doing too much. So I kinda get it.
prosecute a number of police shootings as well as Harvey Weinstein, along with her own husband even catching headlines for threatening to shoot and kill BLM protesters. Whoa. So in November 2020, a new district attorney would be on the scene, potentially looking to save face over just how badly Draco's case had been handled. And after this change of administration, Draco the Ruler ended up being offered a plea deal from the new DA who dropped the original gang conspiracy charge that had saw Draco facing life, allowing him to accept a guilty plea for shooting from a motor vehicle, a crime that he continued to deny, saying that he was essentially forced to plead guilty for a crime he did not do just to get out of prison.
So you took a plea deal for a crime you didn't commit?
Basically. Like everyone else that takes crime, plea deals for crimes they didn't commit, take gang enhancements, take stuff.
So after a cumulative 3 years battling for his life in jail, and quite...
That's crazy. He had to really admit to doing something that he didn't even do. See, that's the life of, I hate to say it, but that's the life of a black man, bro. I know we're not supposed to really bring race into this, but that's just the truth, bro. Even if you proven innocent, you're still guilty. That's tough. You know what I'm saying?
Literally beating the death penalty, Draco would finally be a free man again. But hell, on these dangerous LA streets, even being free wouldn't be easy. Because upon his release, Draco the Ruler would be returning to a snake pit, as the LA rap scene that he had left behind all those years had flourished, with Draco's former enemies building strength and new alliances while he was behind bars. Meaning that when Draco was released, he would have to fight for dominance in the rap game once again. And considering just how dangerous LA's street rap scene is, he'd be risking his life every step of the way.
That is true, bro. His ops.
Whilst Drakeo was locked in prison, other LA rappers are competing for the space he used to occupy. For example, AZ Chike. The rapper, hailing from South Central, had picked up some steam with his track Burn Rubber Again releasing September the 7th, 2017. He'd collaborate with an Inglewood rapper who Drakeo wasn't very fond of by the name of Frosty the Snowman on the track One Up. Drakeo had been
like, what the heck is these names, bro? Frosty the Snowman? Like, am I really supposed to take a dude seriously when it's and this is their name? I understand he look like an actual criminal, but like, am I really supposed to take this dude seriously? His name is Frosty the Snowman. Friendly ass name, but like seriously, bro.
Having issues with Frosty even before his time in jail. They'd previously been in the studio together on good terms, but eventually started beefing, with Drakeo revealing in a 2017 No Jumper interview that he'd made a post mocking people for driving old Mercedes, with Frosty apparently taking offense.
He was in the studio talking about, Ralphie, how should I say this? Should I say it like this? Should I do it like this? Like, when I put the post up, I put niggas be posting 06 Benzes, New York Idolized 06 Benzes. They all tag Frosty. I didn't tag the
Frosty had had early successes with tracks like Ya Dig and Milwaukee Bucks, and would later have a resurgence with his music blowing up on TikTok, landing Frosty millions of views on his original songs, millions more on TikTok remixes, and hundreds of thousands of videos being made to his music.
Dang.
Also big from Inglewood is a rapper by the name of Rucci, who also linked up with AZ Chike on the collab track Light It Up, with Rucci and AZ Chike going on to be regular collaborators. In fact, they would go on to collaborate with another Inglewood regular by the name of Lil Deuce, with their track Every N-Word. Then there's also the likes of Mozzie, who had previously worked with...
It's funny, he said little N-word. That's... I understand he white, but at this point, bro, just say nigga, bro. Just say it, bro. Like, that don't even sound right saying little N-word, bro.
Of Lil Deuce, with their track Every N-Word. Then there's also the likes of Mozzie, who had previously...
I definitely heard of Mozzie, though. Definitely heard of him.
Worked with Drakeo on tracks like Fresh Out of Jail, but while Drakeo had gone back into jail, Mozzie was making songs with Inglewood natives like Rucci, for example the track Believe in Me, and Mozzie would eventually go on to make an entire album with YG called Community Service. And though YG isn't from Inglewood, he probably is the most prominent person in the LA music scene to have a grudge against Drakeo. Basically, if you're an LA rapper with any kind of ties or friends in Inglewood, you and Drakeo probably aren't going to get along. And with Drakeo now finally getting out of jail, it wouldn't take long for old beefs to evolve, reignite, and get cracking once again. With the sad truth being, after narrowly escaping the death penalty and life in prison, with his newfound freedom, Drakeo's life would be in danger more than ever.
That's crazy, bro. This man Drakeo had to worry about getting past all them. Now, this man just got out of jail. Now he gotta worry about fighting for his life. That's crazy, bro. That's how it is in the streets, bro. That's sad, but it's true. If y'all enjoyed this video, if y'all did the do, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below y'all thoughts. Comment below, I should react to next I get to it ASAP. And yeah, I'm gonna do the videos every day. Couple of the depends. I'm gone.